Sometimes, it feels like life just won't move forward, like invisible forces are holding you back. No matter how much you pray, plan, or push, nothing changes. But what if the root of the problem isn't out there? What if it's something you've been carrying all along? Every day, people walk around with objects that invite bad luck, block spiritual blessings, and drain their peace without even knowing it. These items aren't just harmless keepsakes. Some of them carry the weight of past pain, failed relationships, financial losses, and spiritual confusion. And when they're close to your body, tucked in pockets, worn around your neck, or kept in your purse, they become open doors for spiritual heaviness. This isn't about superstition. It's about discernment. Because the truth is, what you allow into your space, what you carry with you, can shape your life in powerful ways. Some objects hold you back, others lift you up. The key is knowing the difference before it's too late. In the next few minutes, you'll discover the most common items people carry that silently attract misfortune, and why removing them could be the very breakthrough your life has been waiting for. There comes a moment when everything feels stuck. Opportunities vanish. Relationships feel strained. Finances hit a wall. And even your prayers feel like they're going nowhere. That's when the questions start. Why isn't anything working? What's holding me back? The answer might not be out there. It might be in your pocket, on your wrist, or tucked away in your wallet. Across cultures and faith traditions, people have recognized that certain objects, especially those tied to pain, fear, or confusion, can act like spiritual anchors. They keep you connected to seasons of heartbreak, trauma, and loss. And as long as those objects remain, so does the energy they carry. Old jewelry passed down from someone who suffered. A charm you picked up during a hard season. A photo, a note, a ring that's meaningful, now silently weighing down your spirit. And here's the hard truth. Not everything sentimental is sacred. Some items, even if they look innocent, are blocking God's favor. They're like closed doors in your spiritual house, keeping the light from fully getting in. But when that realization finally comes, everything changes. Because once you understand the power behind what you carry, you also realize this: you have the power to let it go. And that's where freedom begins. It didn't seem like a big deal, just a quiet afternoon. But something felt off. A strange heaviness lingered in the air. Something was urging a deeper look. Maybe it starts with cleaning out a drawer or going through an old purse. That's when the discovery happens. A necklace from a painful breakup. A charm you've worn for years but never really understood. A photo that brings more sadness than joy. Suddenly, it's all connected. The bad dreams, the tension in your home, the way money slips away faster than it comes in. It all ties back to the spiritual weight of what you've been holding onto. It's not just clutter. It's a curse in disguise. One by one, the objects go. Each piece dropped into the trash or donated comes with a prayer of release. And then something shifts. The air feels lighter. You sleep better that night. A phone call brings unexpected good news. You feel peace again for the first time in a long time. And in that moment, the message becomes clear. It was never just about the object. It was about what it carried. Letting it go wasn't just a physical act. It was spiritual warfare. And you won. Before the change, it was all about holding on. Holding on to memories, to symbols of the past, to pain disguised as meaning. But after the day after, the really everything looked different. Letting go didn't feel like loss. It felt like breathing for the first time in years. That old bracelet, it was never bringing protection. It carried the energy of betrayal. That charm from a street vendor, it was tied to a season of fear, not faith. That broken rosary you couldn't throw away, it had become a reminder of spiritual neglect. With every object gone, the truth became louder. What you carry becomes part of who you are. And when you carry pain, grief, or confusion, your life reflects it. But when you choose peace, clarity, and blessing, your life begins to shift. slowly at first, but then it grows, like light pushing back darkness. You start sleeping better, feeling more confident, seeing doors open that were stuck shut for years. People notice the difference, but they don't always understand it. That's okay. You do. Letting go isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's trusting that God can only fill what you've emptied. And for the first time in a long time, you're ready to receive what He's been waiting to give. Once the unnecessary is removed, something powerful begins to unfold. Space. Space for clarity. Space for peace. Space for blessings that had no room before. It doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design. And that design starts the moment you choose to let go. When people clean out their homes, they often expect things to feel more organized. But what they don't expect is how different life suddenly becomes. That's because physical space and spiritual alignment are connected more than most realize. When you clear what no longer serves your soul, you create room for what actually does. What used to block peace now opens the way for rest. What once disrupted finances now opens doors of provision. Conversations go smoother. People show up who want to help. Ideas that once felt stuck begin to flow again. It's not magic, it's divine momentum. This is the beginning of new opportunity. Some may call it coincidence when a long-lost friend reaches out the same week. You remove the curse pendant. Others might brush it off when a job offer appears days after you clean your wallet of old reminders of debt and failure. But deep down, you know it's not luck. It's spiritual order finally being restored. This moment isn't just about getting rid of bad energy. It's about taking hold of a future that has been waiting for you. A future filled with movement, purpose, and blessing. But it only becomes available when you choose to step into it with open hands, no longer full of what held you back. New opportunities often don't come with fireworks or flashing signs. Sometimes, they show up quietly: a good night's sleep, a new idea, a peaceful morning. Sometimes, it's a phone call you never expected or a door you never thought would open again. But this time, you're ready to walk through it. Because now, you understand something others overlook. Spiritual clarity creates real-life breakthrough. This isn't the end of a cleaning journey. It's the beginning of something far greater. A new chapter where everything you carry reflects where you're going and where you've been. Where every item, every habit, every decision is aligned with God's purpose for your life. The past no longer has power here. Fear doesn't set the tone anymore. Now, peace leads. Faith leads. Blessing follows. And the best part? You're not waiting for opportunity anymore. You've made room for it. True growth doesn't begin when life gets easier. It begins when you get lighter, when the spiritual weight that held you back is gone, and you finally have the strength to rise. It's not just about throwing things away. It's about becoming someone who no longer needs to carry them. This new version of you isn't afraid to set boundaries. You now recognize the difference between sentimental and sacred, between what brings comfort and what brings stagnation. And more importantly, you've learned that healing isn't just emotional, it's environmental, spiritual, and practical. The things you use to justify it's just a keepsake. It might be useful someday. It belonged to someone I loved. Those excuses no longer carry power. Because now you see what they really represented: fear, lack, and unresolved pain. Letting go taught you something that no book or sermon ever could. You are not your past. The old charms, the broken jewelry, the energy-draining trinkets, they no longer define you. You've stepped out of a cycle of spiritual clutter. And in doing so, you've stepped into clarity. You sleep better. You feel safer in your own space. You notice opportunities instead of obstacles. That's growth, not loud or flashy, but deep, steady, and unshakable. And now, you've started to make better choice, not just with what you carry, but with who you allow in your life, how you spend your time, and what energy you invite into your home. This growth affects more than just your surroundings. It touches your relationships, your confidence, your faith. People notice that something's changed. You don't get rattled as easily. You speak with peace. You walk with purpose. That's because the noise is gone. The confusion has cleared. And with it, a deeper connection to God's presence has taken root. You're no longer just reacting to life. You're shaping it. You've learned that faith isn't just about what you say or believe, it's also about what you choose to release. And the more you release, the more room there is for God to move. You don't need luck anymore. You don't need protection charms. You don't need memories from seasons you've already outgrown. What you carry now is different. This is your growth story, not measured in things gained, but in weight lifted. And the best part? There's something sacred about a space that's been cleared, not just of clutter, but of every spiritual weight that once lived there. A room once filled with invisible heaviness now feels light. A house that used to echo fear and confusion now radiates peace. And it all started with a simple, courageous decision to let go. The decision didn't just change the atmosphere, it changed the future. Now, every corner of your space feels intentional. The air feels easier to breathe. You walk in and you know, the light has returned, not just from a clean window, but from a heart that finally made space for God to move. What used to be held onto out of fear or habit has been replaced by faith. Faith in a God who honors surrender. Faith in the truth that what surrounds you matters. And faith in the promise that what's coming is better than what was. You've created more than a clean room. You've built a sanctuary. And in that sanctuary, the impossible starts to feel possible again. Where relationships heal. Where sleep becomes peaceful. Where your finances begin to align. Not because of a trick or a ritual, but because the space now reflects divine order. And it's not just your home. It's your heart. It's your mindset. It's your new way of living. You've learned that spiritual housekeeping is not a one-time event, it's a lifestyle. A commitment to protect your peace, guard your energy, and stay aware of what you allow in. You now look at objects differently. You ask, does this serve me? Does this reflect God's presence in my life? This clarity brings a ripple effect. Loved ones notice the peace. Friends ask what changed. And maybe, just maybe, you help them start their own journey towards spiritual renewal. Because light spreads, freedom is contagious, and you've become a carrier of both. You now understand what few ever realize. What you allow into your space will either fight for you or fight against you. Your home is no longer a place where blessings get blocked. It's where they begin. So breathe deeply. Rest confidently. Walk boldly. Because now, you're living in alignment. You've cleared the way for joy to return, for peace to reign, and for abundance to flow. This isn't just the end of a chapter. It's the beginning of your testimony. What you carry physically, emotionally, and spiritually shapes the atmosphere of your life. Holding on to broken, cursed, or painful objects may seem harmless, but they often carry the energy of the very hardships you're praying to escape. The lesson is simple but powerful. Letting go is a spiritual act of faith. We often pray for breakthroughs while clinging to things that block them. But true transformation happens when we align our outer world with the freedom we want to feel inside. God can't fill hands that are already full. Releasing what no longer serves your spirit is the doorway to peace, purpose, and provision. This isn't about superstition. It's about awareness, alignment, and intentionality. Just as we detox our bodies to feel better, we must also detox our surroundings to invite clarity, peace, and blessing. Letting go doesn't mean losing something. It means finally making space for everything God has been trying to give you.